Imagine colossal fans humming across deserts, vacuuming carbon dioxide from the thin air like invisible gold dust, turning the atmosphere's excess CO2 into a trillion-dollar bounty for climate salvation. This isn't dystopian fiction. It's atmosphere mining, the bold rebranding of direct air capture (DAC) technology, where billionaires like Elon Musk and Bill Gates wager billions to extract and monetize the sky's greenhouse gas overload. In 2025, as global temperatures breach 1.5 degrees Celsius thresholds and IPCC demands 10 GTCO removal annually by 2050. DAC surges from lab curiosity to industrial imperative, with 150 startups and $2.8 billion in investments fueling 27 operational plants worldwide. From Climeworks mammoth in Iceland, sucking 36,000 tons yearly, to Occidental Stratos in Texas aiming for 500. 0 tons by late 2025. Atmosphere mining promises not just climate control, but economic empires. CO2 transformed into fuels, concrete, and credits worth $100 a ton. Yet, as China deploys 600-ton units and U.S. hubs like 1.5 scale amid $3.5 billion DOE funding, a geopolitical scramble brews. Who mines the air? Western tycoons or state titans, and at what cost to equity and ecology? Plunge into the aerial abyss with us. The aerial alchemy, from CO2 curse to captured commodity. Atmosphere mining, or DAC, flips climate foe into fortune. Giant modular array stack sorbents or liquid solvents bind CO2 at 400 ppm concentrations, then release it via heat or electricity for storage or reuse. Climeworks Orca in Iceland, operational since 2021, captures 4,000 tons yearly using geothermal fans, mineralizing CO2 into basalt rock for millennia. Per Nature 2025's leap. Carbon captures electrified modules, backed by Amazon's $100 million climate pledge fund, swap sorbents on site for 100,000 tons credits, slashing energy 20% via renewables. By 2026, hybrid electrochemical systems like Yama's pH swing tech minimize heat, targeting to $100 a ton, costs down from $600 today, while Heirloom accelerates limestone formation for gigaton scale. Per X Prize finalists, China's 600-ton pilot, blending with Belt and Road, eyes 1 GT a year by 2030, per IEA analogs. Beyond 2035, DAC could remove 10 GT CO2 annually, per IPCC alchemy, turning atmospheric curse to commodity, from e-fuels to carbon-negative plastics. The frontier, sky as mine, CO2 as coin. The atmospheric jackpot, trillions in thin air, the sky's bounty. 3 trillion tons excess CO2 harvesting 10 GT a year by 2050 yields $1 to 2 trillion, markets at $100 to $200 a ton, per Bloomberg NAF. Utilization, CO2 to e-fuels powers 1 million jets. Mineralization builds 20% global cement carbon sink, per WRI. Stratos 500,000 tons in Texas, Occidental BlackRock's $1.2 billion DOE-backed behemoth. Sequesters via saline aquifers equivalent to 100,000 cars yearly emissions, per Manga Bay. 2025's gold, XPRIZE's $100 million Musk-funded prizes spur 20 finalists. Like Airhive's electrified sorbents for beverages, or Xterra's mine tailings mineralization, removing 1 ton CO2 a day per unit, per X Prize, by 2026. Modular DAC array scale to 1 MT per year, hubs, costs having via AI optimization, per Lux Research. Beyond 2030, $160 billion industry, per Carbon Herald jackpot, where air yields aviation fuels for Bezos jets, credits for Apple's net zero. The riches, thin air thick with trillion-ton potential. Geopolitical skyscrapers, eagles versus dragons in the breeze. Atmosphere mining mines a global grudge match. China's 40 DAC plants capture 50 MT CO2. $5 billion state push securing e-fuel chains amid rebans, spiking 50%, per IEA. U.S. reposts. $3.5 billion, DOE hubs like Climeworks. Oxy's $1.2 billion, Stratos, by late 2025, 500,000 tons per year, per carbon credits. EU's €3 billion Net Zero Act funds 50 plants, ethical air hedging. Beijing, per GCCSI, tycoons tilt. Musk's X Prize $100 million prizes 20 teams like Heirloom's limestone DAC for gigatons, per X Prize. Gates breakthrough to $1 billion backs Climeworks. Amazon's $100 million in carbon capture yields 100,000 tons credits, per About Amazon. India's $1 billion scales BECCS DAC hybrids for Adani, per PIB. X. DAX OPEC China pumps, US suctions. By 2035, 15% emission shift, per IEA but China scale 1 GT a year chokes West's air. The scraps, breeze where Eagles fans and Dragons deploy drifts. Supply chain skyways, from fans to tycoon fuels DAC forges aerial chains, Orcas for 1,000-ton CO2 yields e-fuels for 2 million liters jet fuel, powering 100 flights, per Climeworks. Stratos 500,000-ton sequesters in aquifers or carbonates for concrete, dodging Apple's $3 billion iPhone delays. Defense na F-35 e-fuels cut 20% emissions, per DOD. China's 50 MT fuels Huawei 6G. US 10 MT lags, but IRA $12 billion builds 100 MT by 2030, per IEA. EU's $50 billion market exports credits to BRICS, per Bloomberg NEF. X. Atmosphere mining equals supply salvation, skyways. Fans to fuels, chains for tycoon triumphs unless dragons drift the drafts. Environmental zephyr, captures clean breeze or mirage. DAC drifts green, 95% renewable powered, per Climeworks mineralization log CO to millennia in basalt, per Nature. Microbial hybrid sequester, as limestone, healing 10% coal scars by 2030, per Cornell, Shadows. $600, ton costs riskio are oil boosts, per Mongabay 40 nations tariff carbon by 2026, per OECD. Amnesty, air inequality in excess. Future at 10 GT a year by 2050, per IPCC gates to $1 billion leads, China's $5 billion scales. Zephyr or mirage, breeze where capture cleans, unless oil taints the trade. Billionaire backers, Musk, Gates, and the air aristocrats tycoons mine the mist. Musk's X-Prize $100 million spurs heirlooms gigaton limestone DAC, per X-Prize. X, DAC, Billionaires air heist, by 2026, $1 billion VC, per Lux aristocrats aristocrating the air for legacy and lucre. Global gusts, alliances, adversaries, and aerial echoes gust, US, UPAC's fund to $100 million stack, per IEA Occidentals 1 MT per year, by 2027. Japan's $150 million scales. India's $1 billion hybrids feed Adani, per PIB, adversaries. China's $5 billion dwarfs US $3.5 billion, per Carbon Herald BRICS tilts Africa. CSIS, DAC diversifies 10% lagging till 2035. Echoes, net zero skies for Dubai, stable AI for Zephyr as gilded gust. Challenges aloft, costs, scale, and sky squalls swirl. $600 in ton DAC in 2025 to 10x credits delays scale, per Nature. EAR risks oil, leaks threaten storage, per Mongabay. By 2026, AI cuts 30%, per Carbon Herald, but $100 ton needs 2030 tech. X leaks China espionage, tycoons to $100 million R&D, per IEA, aloft. 10 GT year by 2050, powering to be EVS. Squalls, costs carving the skyscrape. Conclusion, air that could crown or choke tycoon dreams. Atmosphere mining as 2025 surge from Stratos 500,000 tons to 2050's 10 GTs. The aerial alchemy gripping Earth's breath, fueling Musk skies, Gates grids, and Amazon's empires. Trillions in CO to riches promise climate control, but costs and oil chokes loom. Will alliances mine the mist, or will greed gust the green? The Zephyr's whisper of fortunes forged in fumes and tycoons who vacuum them. Like the capture. Drop your airbed in comments, subscribe for more sky-high sagas.